Hey friend, welcome back to another episode of Mastering Post-Production Sound. My name is Joel. I'm a re-recording mixer and industry coach. We're on the dub stage today. We are in the middle of pre-dubs here for a Netflix film, and I wanted to take a second to talk specifically to those sound effects mixers out there, those sound effects mixers who might be working with somebody new for the very first time. Let's talk about a couple of things, because I find myself in a situation like that. For a long time, I was working with a colleague who we knew each other's moves. We had a rhythm and a flow. And every once in a while, what happens is when you get an opportunity to work with somebody else, you get that phone call. Right now, you got to go work with somebody that maybe you haven't worked with ever. And that's the case with my colleague right now. Is I've known him for a long time, like many, many years, right? Got a lot of, so grateful for his support over the years, but I've never actually worked with him. I think I filled in on a couple episodes of something back in the DC days, but when I was doing DC comic stuff for TV. But when we sit down, I'm not too sure how he wants to do things. So if you find yourself in that position, one of the first things that you really should do is you should have a conversation. And usually it's a conversation that goes something like this, like, hey, tell me your workflow. Like, how do you like to mix? Give me, if we have a 3-day mix, give me the layout. What does it look like for you? Because I'm going to tell you right now, every lead dialogue mixer, and lead dialogue mixers, just for those of you who don't know, is in the industry, most dialogue and music mixers are the lead mixers, right? They're usually running the room. Although there are some exceptions. There are some sound effects mixers that do that, who lead the room. But typically, that's the way it goes. And so when I'm working with anybody, and I've worked with many, many different mixers, I always start the conversation like, hey, what's your workflow? If we got 3 days, take me through. Where do you want to be? Midday, day 1, at the end of the day, what are we doing day 2? And typically they'll be able to know, or rather tell you what their clients are used to, what they're used to. And so the first thing you want to do if you're finding yourself mixing alongside somebody new is talk about your workflow. Talk about what's expected. Some people like to just go through the whole thing, linear, right? Like literally start and stop from the beginning. Other people say, let's get through the whole thing, get your pass, get my pass, listen to my music, mix your effects with it, different things. And so because you have different philosophies, I think it's really important that you're on the same page when it comes to your workflow. Communication is such a big thing when it comes to mixing side by side with somebody. And especially, in my particular situation, I'm learning right now, which is so great. I'm learning new skill sets because I've been used to a certain way for so long that now I am having to rethink, okay, I'm going to do this quicker. I'm going to try this, let's do this now. And that's a good thing because you never want to get to a place in your mixing career where you're getting complacent. You always, always, always want to be learning. So make sure you sit down and you have that conversation. You communicate, okay? The next thing is, nonverbal communication. One of the things that I do is when I'm sitting here mixing, right? And I'm assuming the mixing position right now. I'm here mixing and I'm going like this, and let's just say we're working through a reel, okay? We're mixing a reel. And because that's what we're doing in this particular setting right now. I mix a reel and I've gone through my pre-dub, and now we're going to marry up. We're going to kind of pre-dub the scene, or just get to the scene once. I want to be I'm looking over, because if we're going scene by scene and I'm seeing that he's grabbing his dialogue fader or his music fader, right? The last thing I want to do is hit that stop button, because by hitting that stop button, I'm screwing him up, right? Or her up if they're on a move, right? If they're doing a pass, right? And they're writing automation, the last thing I want to do is stop them. So that nonverbal communication of looking over, and even sometimes there's like a good, like a head nod, right? And then, you can take over and go ahead and, do whatever you're going to do automation-wise. But that will happen. When you work alongside somebody, there are a lot of nonverbal cues that will happen. Also, another big thing that I think is important is taking breaks. Like, we sit for so long. It's important to get up and maybe walk around and, grab a cup of coffee or something. So make sure you're taking some time for yourself. But, one of the big things, excuse me, I will say is that when you work with somebody, you get to learn their traits. What are they, keep an eye out for that. What are they used to doing? How do they like their music? What are they, a big thing is the center channel. Like there are dialogue music mixers who don't like putting any music in their center channel. And there are dialogue music mixers that love to put music in their center channel. So if you're one of those mixers, what do you like? Do you like music in the center channel or do you not like music in the center channel? Let me know in the comments below. But it's understanding that, and like as a sound effects mixer, I got to make sure that I'm putting air, cloth in that center channel to kind of help any kind of production lines that fall off. But all that to be said, you're learning as you sit there and you work alongside somebody. Another thing is, which I think is really, really important, is just to have good people skills. Friend, like in this industry, it's such a relational-based industry, right? I've said this before online. I've said it before in videos too, but this industry runs on relationships. Relationships are everything in this industry, right? It's all about who you know. But I submit to you, more importantly, who knows you. So get to know that person. Be open when you're having conversations, about who you are, because it's more than just this, friend. It's more than just the faders and the waveforms. Yes, we got to get through material, and in this particular situation, we're moving pretty fast, right? But it's so important to just be a human being, because we spend so much time on the dub stage with our crew. And when you have a good crew of people, good folks, it makes it so much more fun, So if you're new doing this with somebody, have those conversations about how they want to work and look for feedback, because one of the big things when I'm working with somebody new, I don't ever want to hang them up to dry, right? I don't want to be like, you waiting for me, man? Like I want to get through my pass quick, address anything I can, and then when it's my turn, do it, but then get it back to the dialogue mixer. And like, okay, wherever you want, what are you going to do? How's that sound? That's another thing. Asking for feedback, right? Like, you good with that? Is that too much? Does it sound pretty good? No, that's great. Because you'll find some lead mixers will micromanage you, but also will let you kind of go, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, that's awesome. Or maybe let's, I remember working with somebody that they will remain anonymous, right? But I remember just feeling really micromanaged by that person. And it happens, right? It happens because they have a vision as the lead mixer, how they want something. But be open to feedback. Ask, hey, do you like that? Is it good? And have a good time. That's the last thing I'll lead you is just have a good time. If you're mixing your first film or TV show with a partner, have a great time. When you're on lunch, talk about things that you find ways to connect with your crew, because again, like I said, we spend a lot of time with these folks on the dub stage, and we sure do appreciate when we all gel together and we have a good time, because when we're really in it, we're spending more time on stages like this than we do see our family. And that's, for instance, this film right now. Like, I got 4 kids. My youngest kid, I come home late and he's getting ready for bed. So it's like seasons of time. We spend way more time with our sound family. Usually we're filled, our background, the backfield here is filled, with folks, and we spend a lot of time with them. So be a good person, find ways to connect with your crew, and, have fun. So thanks for checking out this video. We're kind of in it right now, but if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. If you want to know, certain things about the industry, or if you're new to mixing, leave me a comment. What would be beneficial to you? You know, and if for those of you who are out there that are a little bit more advanced in mixing and you want to take your mixing to the next level and you love learning and you're looking for something that will really take your mixing to the next level, check out the masterclass that we had recently, right? This is a replay. All the information you need to have is linked below. But go check it out. And check it out, you know, me and my good friend and colleague, Jeffrey J. Haboush, 4-time Oscar-nominated sound recording mixer. We got together and we taught a masterclass here on mixing, the art of sound, the art of film and TV mixing. So everything's below. So, friend, thanks for being here. I will check you out over here in one of these videos on the side or in next week's video.